as a student. You're going to school and you're tired and you're meeting new people and you're figuring out this like new part of your life. And I think just opening yourself up to all the support with the staff and new friends that comes with just getting involved is so important to pave your path.
Welcome to the Power of PennWest. I'm your host, Dr. John Anderson, President of PennWest University. Whether you're a current student, a proud alum, or just curious about the PennWest community, welcome. Please stay tuned as we explore the stories, achievements, and experiences of the people who bring life to our campuses in California, Clarion, Edinboro, and online. Welcome to the Power of PennWest podcast. Well, welcome everybody to the second season of the Power of PennWest podcast. Once again, I am your host, Dr. John Anderson, the president of PennWest. We are excited to explore more stories of our campus community this semester and this season. Today, we have two individuals who have crafted their own personal narratives and identities through participation in clubs and organizations while in college. Lindsey Tolbert, who graduated from the California campus in 2016, works for an entertainment company as an event coordinator and talent agent. Where did she get her start? Well, you guessed it, collaborating with other company members as a member of the Student Activity Board. And we welcome you, Lindsey. It's great to have you with us here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anderson. I'm honored. Truly, I'm really excited. It's also a great way to kick off the new year, if I do say so myself.
Absolutely. Well, welcome to 2025, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Our second guest today is Joelle Paul, an exercise science major at the Edinboro campus. She finds her passion in basketball. As the student assistant for the Fighting Scots women's team, she discovered that she still had the itch to lace up her sneakers and continue to play. So she decided to start a club basketball team on her own campus. Joelle, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Dr. Anderson. It's so exciting to be here. Thank you for having me. And it's so funny that you described it as an itch to still play, because that's exactly what it was. I found myself still wanting to compete in some way while I was the student assistant for the women's team. But I knew that was a little much for me. So I was like, man, I wonder, I wish, I hope maybe there's a way or somehow I can still play. So I'm glad this opportunity came along and it turned into something great.
We are looking forward to hearing that story for sure. Well, as you both know, clubs and organizations play a crucial role in any student's college experience. They provide lots of opportunities for personal growth, leadership development, all the networking, building relationships, making new friends. And the power of PennWest here, as we've talked about often, is in its people and the connections, the activities that we get to do together. So I appreciate both of you being here to be able to share your story, share a little about your experiences, and learn a little bit about what the clubs and organizations do on our campuses. So Lindsey, let's start with you. Would you mind telling us just a little bit about your history, where you grew up, how you picked coming to a PennWest campus, what that experience was like?
I love that. I wouldn't mind at all. So I am actually from Pittsburgh, so not too far away. I'm in Pittsburgh right now, so I stayed close. I heard about Cal from a friend that actually was attending the university and had me visit a few times. And I actually transferred from a community college to Cal. So non-traditional student, just heard about it locally. I actually transferred, and within my first year at Cal, I found the Student Activity Board. So I don't know. I wish I could remember. I was thinking about this. If I attended an org fair and that's how I heard of it, or if I just was like, what is this tie-dye event happening in the middle of the quad? Who are these cool people? They're so friendly. I want to get involved. How do I do it? Maybe a little bit of both. So I did get involved right away my freshman year, and I actually ended up changing my major from graphic communications to a concentration in public relations. It was life-changing, not to be dramatic, but I quickly met Missy Dunn, who's still with PennWest, and she got me involved with the organization. I was with SAB for my entire career at Cal, and I graduated actually December 2015 and was offered a job with the company I'm with now, Neon Entertainment, January 2016. So a month later after graduation. And when I think about my just reflecting on my experience, I was so lucky to have a education and an experience outside of the classroom just run parallel together because of Cal. So what I mean by that is it's funny, I can remember this exact story, this exact moment is I was in the student activities office, and Missy and I and a few other students were planning this huge comedy national act to come to campus for the students. And I was like hurrying up and working on like the marketing and getting students involved in our opening act, and like texting the agent, like, does he have everything? How many mics does he need? And then I was also leaving the office and going to like my public relations classes and learning how to write like a press release as I was actually like doing it in real time. So a really cool just hand in hand experience. I actually met my boss that I have now, Scott Tellerico. He's the owner of Neon Entertainment, as a student, putting on our events within the clubs and organizations, and like the club and org fair. I was the daytime chair, just the things that are happening on campus. I actually was meeting my boss and planning those events, and not knowing he would be my boss someday. So flash
That's
forward
a
to
great connection
now.
to have.
Yes, it is. It is. And I can see myself at one of the conferences. It's called NACA, the National Association for Campus Activities, just sitting with him in the exhibit hall, planning as a student the events that I wanted to have on campus. And then now, 9 years later, having this job, it's amazing. And I'm actually talking to students and advisors every day. And it's so nice because I'm fully in their shoes. I was the student and he was my agent. So it's come full circle, and it's really amazing. I'm truly blessed.
You couldn't ask for a better setup. The opportunity to learn in the
Right.
classroom, apply it immediately as part of the Student Activities Board over a 4-year experience.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then to meet your boss while you're doing the whole thing.
Right.
You,
It's
you can't
definitely
beat that.
a good form of networking for sure. Yes.
That's great. Joelle, tell us a little about yourself. Where are you from?
So I'm originally from Erie, Pennsylvania, which is a skip hop jumping away. It's really not that far, like 25 minutes. So I didn't venture out too far when I was looking for a college to come to. And Edinboro just seemed to be the perfect fit. So, and I loved their campus when I came on my first few visits. And I honestly kind of grew up coming here all the time for basketball tournaments because of AAU. In high school, I went to McDowell High School, so I played for them for 4 years, and I played travel basketball for Lady Trojans, and we went to tournaments everywhere. And a lot of them, we always signed up for the Edinboro tournaments that they hosted here. So I was very familiar with the campus and the location. So
That's great. And tell me where this love of basketball began. Were you born with it? How did that first fascination start?
I would say I tried a couple sports to start. I was put in swimming, but never to compete. I just needed to know how to swim. I tried soccer, like MYA League soccer, and then I did like Little League basketball. And basketball was just out of all the sports, I did dance and tap and all that stuff, but basketball was the one that just stuck because it didn't require and it did require all the things that I didn't and did like about all the other sports. And I could be aggressive because I grew up being a tomboy, so I was like, this is perfect. This is awesome. Like I could be aggressive on defense and I can make some baskets on offense and take a break when I'm jogging down the court. So I fell in love with basketball really early, probably in about grade school, like fourth, fifth grade. And I had this coach who coached me through elementary school and middle school. His name was Coach Herbie, and he was just one of the best coaches that I've ever had. And I thought that he would be my coach forever, but that was so unrealistic. I graduated middle school and went on to high school, and so I played high school basketball, and it was a really big change, but I still loved it, and it was just the sport that I stuck with. Yeah.
That's great. So once you were on campus, how did you first get involved with the Lady Fighting Scots?
As I was committing to the school, still in high school. It's so funny that you had mentioned like networking and connections because I really got this position through networking and connections. I had a middle school basketball coach. Her name was Megan Fiala, and she was my coach at Westlake Middle School. And so I reached out to her because we kept in contact through middle school, high school. And I was like, oh, do you know the head coach, like Coach Callie Wheeler? And she was like, yes, I do. Like, I know her. And I was talking to her, Megan Fiala. I was like, I kind of want to be involved with the basketball team, but I don't know if I want to play or not. I kind of want to be like a helper or like an assistant. And so that was like my idea of still being a part of basketball, still being a part of the team and camaraderie without, I guess, committing right away. And she was like, I can get you connected with her. And so I went out on a visit with my mom and I met Coach Callie. And I was like, Coach Callie, can I be your student assistant? And she said yes right away. She was like, yes, absolutely. We connected right away. She has a really awesome, bright personality and we just connected right away. And so it was it was really awesome to know that she was as welcoming as I had hoped she would be for me to be a part of the team, but kind of not exactly want to play, but still be a part and help. And so she welcomed me to the team, and that was my freshman year, and I've been doing that ever since.
What a great story. As soon as you
Yeah,
get on campus, get to find something you love, something you do, and connect you to the campus and connect you to a lot of people immediately from the time you got here. That's
yeah,
great.
a lot of
Lindsey, let's
people.
go back to you for just a second. Tell us a little bit about the work you do now and how working on the Student Activities Board helps you prepare for that.
Sure, it's a great question. I actually don't go through a day without thinking how lucky I am because I do think about my experience as a student hand in hand with my job now. Like I mentioned before, I actually talk to students and advisors every day as they plan their events on campus. And I was that student planning the event on campus. So it's really easy to offer, I think, just like a very friendly kind of voice through the booking process because I was in their shoes. And, there's questions that come up when a student calls and they say, I'd love to book a drop ship tie dye event for my campus. And I remember as a student, some things that are some tips and tricks I maybe didn't know quite yet. And I'm able to kind of offer those as like a friendly voice. But it's also just really nice to talk to the advisors, hear what they're doing. There's a lot of things that have happened whenever I was on campus that I can just relate to and offer advice. But also when it comes to like example, like the tech rider, just being able to kind of get on Zoom and walk them through the process like I did as a student preparing for that artist to come to campus. So definitely often. A short answer.
That's great, Lindsey. Thank you. Joelle, let's go back to your basketball experience now. Tell us a little bit about this club you started, the club basketball team, how it works, where you play, how you travel, those kinds of things.
Yeah, so it started by Coach Callie recommending me and my vice president and she used to play for the Edinboro women's basketball team and also very good friend, Torsia McCall. She recommended me and Torsia to start a club team. I was like really nervous at first because I was like, oh my gosh, start a club. That sounds like a lot of paperwork and a lot of planning and but I had to get over all that because I inevitably remembered and came to my senses like this could possibly and probably will have a greater impact than all the little things that I'm worried about. So I said yes. And so we started to recruit and we started to promote and market. And before we knew it, we had girls come in left and right out of nowhere saying, I want to play club basketball. So we started and we played and we scheduled a whole bunch of games against a lot of other schools that have a lot of other club teams, which I was very surprised about. I honestly entered a world that I had no idea existed, which was super cool. We played teams like SUNY Brockport, St. Bonaventure, West Virginia, University of Pitt, and it was just really cool to see like other like big schools have club teams. So that's how that came about. And so we practice twice a week. And so how that whole process goes is it's honestly all about communication because since it's a club team, it's exactly what it sounds like club. So it's optional, really. Like everybody's welcome, everybody can play. We come up with rules ourselves, we come up with practice times, practice places ourselves that work best for everybody. So it's nothing super strict or super mandatory, which was what and that I was initially looking for and which worked out and appealed to a lot of people on campus because when you're in college, you want to be a part of something, but you don't want to have to feel obligated to be there every single time, all the time for so long. We practice in our student center. Our student center is called POG. And so we practice in the student gym. We practice twice a week, about an hour and a half there, which is a pretty good time for everybody. It's manageable for me and a lot of the girls because we get a pretty good return rate on girls. We've been a team for 2 or 3 years now, so we've had a
That's great.
pretty solid group of 7 to 10 girls who've come back and committed. So yeah, it's worked out.
Thank you. We'll be right back after this message.
At PennWest University, we're making college make sense again for people who maybe thought college wasn't the answer. We're making college practical with programs tied to in-demand jobs that prepare you for success right away. We're making college accessible by breaking down barriers and offering more choices. We're making college approachable with faculty who understand where you're coming from and help you get where you're going. At PennWest, we're making college valuable again for people just like you. Learn more at pennwest.edu.
Let's talk just a little bit now about advice you may give to current students at PennWest who may not be involved with campus life much yet, who go to class, do their homework, make a few friends, do a few things on campus, but are really unaware of this whole club, student activity board thing. What advice would you give to that student? What is the first step they need to take to get involved? And how is that involvement going to redirect their future? Lindsey, do you want to give us a first take at that?
Sure. So sweet and simple, just get involved. I know that's kind of easy to say and to think about. I remember my first year at Cal was hard. It's a lonely place at first. It's something new and a big change. And I think you just need to step outside your door and just become a sponge, introduce yourself, ask questions. I quickly realized that Cal and just college in general is almost like this just dome of support. And what's really nice is I think my student activity board experience really paved the way for me to figure out what I wanted to do, which I think sometimes is really hard as a student. You know, you're going to school and you're tired and you're meeting new people and you're figuring out this new part of your life. And I think just opening yourself up to all the support with the staff and new friends that comes with just getting involved is so important to pave your path. And what's amazing is even though you're so terrified to think about what's next, that path that you're paving as a student by getting involved is already there for you. So it kind of just really opens the door to what's next after college. And I think I really, really, truly do think that came from getting involved. So just be a sponge, go out, meet new friends. Every day is an experience. I think it's great to just use your resources as you're a college student and create that experience for yourself. So
That's great. And if you see a whole group of students making tie-dye t-shirts, walk up and ask questions, right? What are you
yes,
doing? How do you get that? Who wears the
so
t-shirt?
funny. That's such an example that stays in my mind as the tie-dye t-shirts. And we do so much. We do roller rinks and comedians and musicians but that tie-dye t-shirt thing, that was one of my favorites as a student.
Yeah.
So
And it's really impressive. The Student Activity Board gives students not only experiential learning, but gives them real business experience. You get the chance to negotiate contracts, to work with vendors, that whole range of activities in putting on events. And you get to negotiate a lot of money. There's a lot of money that flows through those student activities, and it gives you an opportunity to do that from a very early age. I can't imagine what your boss was like when you walked in and said, "Hey, here's my portfolio of experiences." And usually that's someone who's had 3 to 5 years of professional work who would have done those similar things.
yes, no, totally. It actually, when I think about like my student self, I can picture myself being like, oh my gosh, here's this 10-page contract. Like, and then there's a tech rider, and now I have to take it to CalU. We said SAI. So like that was our financial office. And I know it's different for every campus, but you'd have to like take it to them and be like, what do I do with this? And I need a signature and then return it. It is such a process. I think that form of independence is amazing. It goes very far into your next chapter after college. So yes, I'm thankful for that. It's a lot financial and contract wise. You're right.
That's one of the things I love about PennWest and institutions like PennWest is that students have the chance to get experience from day one. They start to stretch not only their mind, but their ability to practice their field. It's really rewarding to watch. Joelle, tell us a little bit about the advice you would give to other students who may not be as involved as you are yet, and what steps they should take to get involved in the campus community.
I would definitely say I agree with so many things that Lindsey said too. Like everything she was saying, I was like, yep, check, yep, that's what I did. That's what led to all this stuff. And so, what I would definitely say to somebody thinking about coming to college or an incoming freshman or transfer or anybody who looks at something and is like scared or doesn't know where to go or doesn't know what to do or how to get involved is make it easier on yourself by finding a friendly face, finding a welcoming program, find something that's already inviting, and that will in turn lead to another thing or another friend or somebody you have something in common with, or you'll see an opening within that. And I would say that's kind of what I did. I feel like I cheated. I came into college already a part of something, but it was one of the best decisions that I've ever made, honestly. Starting this club team, I met so many people who were unsure about club basketball, who asked me about things that I wasn't even involved in. I met people who are in so many different majors who would just ask me about campus because I am super involved. I'm involved in a lot of other clubs. I am also a minority on campus and I'm a friendly face. I'm very extroverted. So you would see me a lot on campus, involved in a lot of things. So people would come up to me and ask me a whole bunch of questions, and I would be so happy to tell them where to go, how to get there, who to talk to, what to do, or just say hey. So finding a friendly face or somebody who looks inviting or a program that's welcoming, go there first and see what it leads to. I would tell them that you're already in college, so you made it. That's like half the battle. You already are here, so just take that leap of faith, take that jump, take the chance to talk to somebody that you've never talked to before, get involved in something that may seem interesting, but you're not sure. Like being unsure is like one of the pillars of somebody new to college. It's like you're
Yeah.
never unsure or you're never sure. So it kind of goes through your mind about everything, but kind of going that untraveled path of should I do this or what ifs or unsureness leads to so many more opportunities that you would never have found out if you went the other way.
I love how both of you described that. You know, when a student is sitting there working their way through having the experience or having working hard in the classroom, doing their homework, it's just that one step, walking up to the tie-dye table, having a conversation with a basketball coach that can open up a huge opportunity. And if students, when they're here, will just lean in a little harder, they'll be able to have the same experiences that you did. Tell me if you think this is accurate, but it's my perception that a student's university experience is a pretty safe place to try things you may not be comfortable with. It's really a testing ground. Would you agree with that?
100%. This is like the big step before reality, before you get into the adult world. So, and sometimes people don't realize that they need to test those waters or try new things or travel different places until their fourth year in college. And then that's when they start doing all those things. I'm talking about me. I didn't want to do a lot of things till like my third or fourth year in college, but I'm so glad that I'm trying them now because I get older and I mature and I'm like I'm surrounded by so many more people who have so much experience and have been out there and they're like, yeah, I wish I would have done that when I was in college or I wish I would have done that when I was your age. And so now I'm like this is the time that I needed to have made those choices or try new things or travel different places and spend that money and take those jobs. So yes, for sure. I agree 100%.
Thanks, Joelle. Lindsey, was that something you'd agree with?
I do agree. I think, at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all have questions we don't have the answers to. I think being a student allows you to maybe feel a little bit more comfortable to ask those questions. And I always found myself, and I don't know why this took me a little bit longer to do, but I would like sit with a staff member, even if I would go up to like SAI with a contract. And I always would find myself saying, like, what was your experience like in college? Or like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, can you walk me through this process? Or just, a little bit more personal. And I think it is such a good time to know that that's okay. And it is through our adult life too. But just as a student, sometimes I would forget to be like, you know what? No, this is a really good time for me to mess up a little or to figure it out or ask the question. So yes, 100% agree with you.
Well, Lindsey and Joelle, it has been so fun to have this conversation and get our audience more exposed to the clubs and organizations, student activity board, and similar parts of the institution that really provide an out-of-class applied experience that can help students more fully transition into the world of work when they're done. So each of you had the opportunity to try something new when you were a student on the student activity board and starting the club basketball team. That takes a lot of effort to get that off the ground. And then you had the chance to build that over a year, 2 years, 3 years, have a chance to participate in a long time. Tell us that crystallizing moment, or was there a crystallizing moment when you looked back and said, that was worth it? It has accomplished what I thought it would, and that was worth every part of the effort. Lindsey, do you want to tell us about that experience?
Sure, that's such a good question. I kind of get like goosebumps. So thank you for asking that. Yes, I think my crystal clear moment that just pops up in my head is when I was in the convocation center as the middle agent, so the booking agent for the BOB artist concerts. I think this was pre-COVID, 2018, maybe 2019. I was the middle agent for BOB coming to PennWest Cal. And this was my first concert, I believe, where I was helping Cal bring this artist to campus as their agent. So it was like I was standing behind the curtain of the stage. This took months and months to plan, talk about contracts and paperwork. There was a lot for that. Walking the student activities board through this process, knowing how much it meant for me when I put on the concert as a student, and just getting all of our ducks in the row. And then you just want the turnout. You want the audience for the students that did everything they had to have this awesome event and promote it, and everything's in a row. I'm standing behind the curtain, and I remember like peeking out. The show had just started. It was like the first time I could like just breathe. The artist was on stage, my boss was there, and I remember, I know I mentioned Missy Dunn was there, and you see the people that helped me as a student kind of all around, Larry Seebeck, and you're looking at their faces, and your concert's starting and the audience is full, and the student activities board, they're excited. I think that was such a moment of like, this was a long road and a lot of trial and error and meeting new people and hard work, and it was so worth it in that moment to just come full circle and just be in that spot at that exact time. And I've done it a handful of times since, and I think I feel the same way every time.
That's a great story, Lindsey. And that band, B.O.B., that'll never be the same for you, right? It'll always bring back that memory every time you hear them.
Oh, it comes on my car, and I'm like, yep, I picked
that was it.
There. Yeah.
Joelle, how about you?
I don't have a cool story like Lindsey. That was a really awesome story. I love that. But for me, I think I have two moments where I actually really thought back and kind of absorbed everything. One was last spring, 2023. I was nominated, and I still don't know by who, and I received an award for an Outstanding Achievement Award through the DEI program. And I was like, I wonder, I don't know what I could have received this award for. And so I got an email and that I was to show up at this award ceremony. And they just told me to show up, the date, the time, location. I was like, okay, I guess I'll be there. And so I got there, and a friend of mine who was in the DEI program here at Edinboro, also part of she was the president of our BSUA program or club here. She presented me with the award, and it was for starting a club program here on campus. And it was at that moment where I was like, wow, I mean, I had a lot of help, so I could never solely take credit by myself, but I guess it was that initial decision to say yes that gave so many people an opportunity, or so many college girls, to compete and play at a collegiate level still, and compete in a sport that they may have once loved in high school. And the other moment was last year we had a super awesome photographer on campus. He was around athletics all the time with his camera. His name is Duffy Gallagher, and I told him, like, can you come to one of our club games and take pictures for the girls? Like, it would be super dope if we had pictures, like everybody had like action shots. And he took a picture of me and my teammate. And I don't remember what the moment was, but the picture was of me with my arm around her and her head was down. But I knew I was encouraging her in that moment because it was just the heat of the moment. And I saw that picture and I have it in my phone and I look at it often. And it was that moment, like, I looked at the picture and I was like, I love this. And I'm so happy that I did this, because even though that picture may be representing her discouraged, but I was encouraging her. I love that so much. I just love everything that comes with competing in sports and basketball and being a part of a team, and encouragement and empowerment. And that's those words have kind of been like my pillars, being a part of the women's basketball program here and starting this club here. And those two moments were definitely moments that I took time and reflected back on starting this club program, and was so happy that I did it, or so happy that I had help doing it. That came to be such an awesome thing.
That is a pretty powerful crystallizing moment, Joelle. Thank you so much for sharing that. So thanks to both of you for joining us today on the Power of PennWest podcast. It's great to meet both of you virtually here as we had the chance to talk. And thank you for being willing to share your stories. And to our audience, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Power of PennWest podcast.